Welcome to the debut episode of my new YouTube channel, Lifetime on the Spectrum, where I will discuss what it's like to have a late diagnosis at the age of 65. Hi, my name is Liz, and I'm glad you are here. It was only a year ago that I was formally diagnosed with autism at the age of 65. What made me seek a formal diagnosis? I was on leave to recover from the pandemic, a SharePoint migration where I was the lead, and a department reorganization where I ended up having 4 managers within a year. I was viewing videos on YouTube for general coping mechanisms when YouTube started serving me up videos on coping with autism struggles. The videos really resonated with me, and I wondered, am I actually autistic? I started doing some research. I reviewed a lot of videos on traits and characteristics about autism. Many of them fit me. I even took the autism quotient test by Dr. Simon Baron-Cohen, and I got a score of 42 out of 50. That's pretty evident that I have autism, since 35 or higher indicates that. And so I reached out to my GP. I asked him for a referral to a late diagnosis specialist. His response was less than optimal. But that's a developmental disorder, and you're not a young boy. Yikes. So I wouldn't take no for an answer. I reached out to another doctor at the office to see if I could find a specialist who could diagnose high-masking female autistics. 2 weeks later, after I gave all of my history, she was pretty convinced that I had autism, what in the past would have been called Asperger's, but she would need to be sure. She asked me to take another 300-question diagnostic survey to confirm that I did have autism. After I finished that survey, right then she said, yes, I was right, you have autism. And I was right, I have autism. I was 65. That night, I metaphorically swam in a sea of conflicting emotions. Anger that had taken so long to get the proper diagnosis. Grief over not finding out until literally retirement age. So much confusion over, what do I do now? Who do I tell? What will my family think of me? How will my friends react? What will happen at work? Yet ecstatic that I'm not broken or willful or lazy. I have a different brain. And finally, sadness for all the wasted opportunities because I didn't know I was autistic. Definitely a lot to process. I went back to YouTube to see if there were any videos by people who had recently got this diagnosis at my age, but no, there was almost nothing. Most of the people on YouTube were in their 20s to their 30s, just a few people in their 40s, not many people my age. The best video I found was an episode from Autism from the Inside by Micallef, where he interviewed people who had recently been diagnosed in their 60s or their 70s. I have linked that in the description below. I vowed that night that I would create a YouTube channel for people like me, for people in their 60s or 70s with a late diagnosis. And a year later, this is my channel, Lifetime on the Spectrum. Join me as I explore what it means to be authentically autistic, where I go over missed and misdiagnoses, where I share my perspective as an older adult on resilience, coping mechanisms, mindfulness, work, job interviews, lifelong learning, and living a lifetime before getting a diagnosis. I will also share ideas on relationships, self-care, and ways to celebrate all the qualities that make us unique. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.